really impressive just from a mental standpoint to be able to do that, right?
Dude.
To bounce back from getting checkmated, rook and bishop against rook. He even had 2 pawns on the board. The outplay from Hikaru in the previous game was insane. Full credit to Hikaru, but to just basically silence everyone, it's like by the time we had appreciated that, he had already gone and won another game.
And speaking of full credit, we wanted to credit the over 100,000 of you watching this amazing SEC finals match presented by Coinbase across the various platforms. When I say that I appreciate people taking time out of their busy Fridays, these are not just cliche words. This is not just boilerplate. We truly appreciate the chat and the energy that people bring. It lends a magical quality to these events and these matches, and it makes them truly unforgettable. So give yourself a pat on the back, everybody. We hope you're enjoying the match, and we've got the best yet to come. We have 2 more segments. The match remains close, even though Magnus is up by 2. He's only up by 2, and he's played the best SEC segment in history. That's
truly
playing Hikaru in a nutshell.
It's like 99% accuracy beats 97% accuracy or something.
I know. Now, what's going on here, Amon? You're the French expert. This didn't start out as a French, but it certainly looks like one.
Well, you see this G5 move. Oui, mais G4.
Maybe we should ask Laurent Fressinet what he thinks of this position. Yeah?
I think the king side is maybe a bit open after G4 and G5 pawn. I think drops here and okay, c'est still très compliqué. Hein?
Very good, yeah. 95, yeah. Bishop fort. C'est le fou. Entendu aujourd'hui, Queen F1, yeah. Okay, Queen takes C5. What a move. Okay, now I can't escape the accent. It's
now
you're trapped in
there a little bit.
You're trapped
you must continue.
Okay, so are we going to see knight b5 by Nakamura to target the c7 square?
These positions, I have to say, are so stressful to play with the black pieces. Like, you feel like you've done the absolute best, right? When you read the blueprint for the French, let's say, because it is more like a French position right now, you think, okay, get rid of the center, right? E5, D4, let me undermine the center. That's what the French is all about. Well, guess what? You've done it. And the position is still extremely unclear, as the eval bar points out that black still has lots to worry about.
Absolutely. But white has more to worry about than may meet the eye, because once black's bishop from f8 comes out to c5, Amon, it targets the f2 pawn, and the fact that white hasn't developed his queen side might bite him in the behind pretty shortly.
Yeah, I think this is all about... First of all, the g-pawn is hanging, so yes, you can take it. It's not that easy for black to play rook g8 because you need to long castle, lots needs to happen. So the g4 pawn is up for grabs, but I like knight b5. However, bishop c5 is a very aggressive way to react, and it just could become a total mess.
Okay, bishop e3 instead. Hikaru prioritizing his development. Magnus could now secure the g4 pawn with h7, h5. That, of course, is the kind of boilerplate response once you advance the pawn to g4. Or he could similarly prioritize his development and get his dark squared bishop out. Which path is he going to choose?
h5 feels really natural, and I guess now that bishop e3 has been played, the clear reaction is knight b5. There's no bishop c5 to think of, so knight b5, I imagine, has to be Nakamura's idea, but you know, the engine, because I've looked at these positions enough, the engine will always be like, you know what, it's not that bad for white. Even if you just develop, black has problems to solve. The king is never fully safe castling kingside, and castling queenside is not that easy to achieve.
Well, you got the square. We got the square right. We got the piece wrong. He's put the bishop on b5. And e5 by Carlsen, leading to complete pandemonium in the center. But Amon, this doesn't actually threaten. I think this is very important. E takes d4 is not a threat because of bishop takes d4, bishop g5. So Hikaru can take this opportunity to say, you want to open up the center? I'll take it to you. A move like c4 and knight c3 would terrify me if I were in Magnus's shoes. And that's very much up Hikaru's alley.
It really is. But he needs to find the confidence to play those moves. I think he knows that this position calls for those types of moves. We talk about the move c4. The move f4 is equally playable. How insane are these moves here? And c4, Hikaru Nakamura strikes. I'm going to go ahead and give that a brilliance. Oh, wait, it's already done.
Both of these players have
Amazing move.
such a keen sense of the initiative. They know exactly when their opponent starts to lose the thread, and they pounce like a tiger out of the cage. This
So
is also
strong.
going to be on the final game of the 5-minute portion, so a win by Hikaru would go such a long way toward reestablishing the momentum that he seized after that endgame victory.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Magnus surviving this position will be so astounding to me because I said it earlier. This position is nothing but stress for Black to play. You're getting attacked the whole game. C4 is an incredible move, and Hikaru is feeling the zen of the position. He knows the type of moves that need to happen, and that's frightening. So I don't know how Magnus is going to survive here.
Correct, Yasser. I'm just trying to grasp the zen of the position. And speaking
Are
of
we
zen,
mellowing out, Daniel?
I remember when Robert Hubner practiced Zen meditation at the 1970 Hugevens Chorus Vaikanze tournament. And this is getting scarier by the second, literally, because Magnus is now down to 2 minutes. Why, Aman, I think for newer players, you look at this position, it's chaos on the board. Why is this so bad for Black? I think it boils down to two things. The first is your permanent lack of king safety. The king is stuck on the e-file. It has nowhere to run because the king side is wide open. Look at Hikaru, knight c3. And that's the second thing, the superiority of White's piece placement. Black's pieces are stumbling on each other. They're not able to defend crucial squares. Let's hear it.
Brilliancy. I'm upgrading it to brilliancy. No, one was not enough there. This is the second. Look at how many pieces are hanging.
Oh my gosh. I don't think that was enough exclamation marks, Simon.
I just want to make it clear that when you hang this many pieces, you deserve some credit. Hikaru is head bobbing. We know what that means. He's feeling the position, and he is ready to go into the break with a victory here. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I don't think Magnus is going to survive here. It's too tough to play.
He's not just headbobbing, he's also chewing, and you know what that means. If you have the mental capacity to go for a snack during the game, that means you're confident that things are going your way. If Black takes the bishop, what actually happens, you might be asking? White takes the d5 pawn with the knight, takes the b5 pawn with the other knight, and then both knights are staring at the c7 square. And you can put this on the board really quickly. As Magnus starts to come to terms with, I would say, the hopelessness of his position, we might see this on the board. He will have to allow knight c7 check, give up the rook in the corner, and try to run his king to the king side. I do think that is the best practical chance. But Magnus just rook b8. Look how calmly he's defending, even in the face of almost certain death. That's actually an excellent move by Carlsen. He says, if I'm going to die with an extra minor piece in my stomach. And this game is not over. This is not over.
And it feels insane to even say that. You know, at this point, White could consider just like a regular looking move like queen d2, rook d1. Those types of moves will still build up insane pressure on the position. So I wonder if there's something more forcing here, Dania, but I might be thinking about just moving the queen.
Queen d2. Also, you're setting up potential ideas like bishop e3 to g5 in order to cover the d8 square. But my worry is that Magnus is actually only a couple of moves away from finding better shelter for his king. He might play the move f6 and then king f7, and that king on f7 is going to be a whole lot safer than it was just a couple of moves ago.
Yep, and it will be on a light square, which is the one piece that White is missing. In fact, a nice move maybe instead of queen d2, but same idea, is just to check the king first and then do it. So you force the king to go to that, undesirable d8 square.
Absolutely. And now Hikaru down a minute on the clock. I don't think he's finding anything that he truly likes. He forces the king to d8, but now the king is very nicely sheltered by the knight on d7, bishop to b6, setting up. But what exactly is the threat? I think that's the problem with this move. Where are you actually going to jump with the knight? a6?
I think the bishop b6 move is doing my favorite thing, threatening to threaten.
Yeah.
It doesn't threaten it yet, but it looks scary. Right, I can say that for sure. If you move the knight, you want to run away with the king. Right now, I think it feels to me like it's time to move that bishop so that you have an escape path.
Great call him on bishop to b4 on the board. The rook on e1 is also hanging. And again, White is down a minor piece, even though it doesn't feel that way. Do you make a run for it with king e7? Is now the time? And it is. And is Magnus starting to take over the initiative? Unbelievable.
And there's no bishop c5 check. But what about takes bishop c7? I guess you retreat the knight.
And
don't want to be blundering bishop d6.
Aman, Carlsen is one move away from establishing his king on g7, the safest square on the chessboard. Black is now better. I can't believe this. And he's kept his extra piece the entire time.
I mean, this is incredible.
D4,
The defensive
knight takes
effort.
D4. And he's blundered rook takes C5. And Hikaru once again is in charge. B5.
B5.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
bishop D4 was really bad. Really bad by Carlsen.
Yep. Magnus lets it slip a little bit because look at the pieces. Look, you're up material, but those pieces aren't in the game. They're not playing. So if you're not using them, they're not affecting the evaluation of the position.
There was absolutely no need for Carlsen to give up his dark squared bishop. Now look at those dark squares along the long diagonal, queen c3 and rook e1.
Yep.
And this feels like a completely different type of position than just a couple of moves ago. At the same time, if black's knight gets to e6, then it's very much still a game. Queen g5.
Okay. Dangerous looking move, but it covers the things it needs to cover, like the f5 square, the queen looking at the queen on g5 is scary.
He blundered on Passant. And h4.
Wow, yeah, I was thinking even queen c5, but this is even better. h4, and the attack rages for black.
And now the bishop can't move because you get mated on g2. You're going to have... Oh, rook takes f3, though! Oh, and rook takes g3, blundered his queen. Magnus blundered his queen. He can't cover with the knight. Oh my god!
I don't know if he thought he had knight g4, but that was nerves, exactly.
He definitely thought he had knight g4. Now it's over. Knight e8, rook takes d1, and you can't even take the knight. And Hikaru wins.